That is Popo, the volcano. We're here in Tequanipan. That is the volcano. Those materials are from the volcano, and they're building a little kind of educational center here for a lot of the local kids to do some tutoring and to learn about some sustainable practices. So this is the little center they're building where there's going to be a lot of tutoring, kind of like an after-school program.
Run out?
Sure.
Cutting hay.
You're cutting hay.
Stomping in mud and clay and hay and making
Cob.
Which is used to make the buildings. It's like a structure.
Yeah. What's this cob going to be used for?
Oven. Yeah.
Okay.
An oven.
Okay.
What am I doing? I'm not 100% sure.
You're not sure?
We're making an oven. Don't know the specifics. Yeah, Dan knows everything.
Dan Irvin reporting live.
Go for it.
From Cholula. Right, here we are a la casa de Doña Rosa. We're building her a new stove. In Spanish, I believe it's estufa. Basically, her old stove was made of bricks, and so it let a lot of smoke out, which is, I mean, you can look at the walls and you can see that the whole room is basically covered in soot from the smoke, and obviously Doña Rosa, while she's cooking her tortillas, is inhaling that as well. And so, in an effort to try to stop that, we are making a new stove out of a material called cob, which is a kind of adobe made out of clay and straw, and I believe flour. Basically what we do is we slap it on. You can see the stove over there, and mold it to the shape we want. We put it over bricks so that we have a good standard to use. We're almost done with the first part of La Stufa. We're going to move on. Basically what the science behind it is we're funneling the heat into a second stove where Doña Rosa can cook her, put beans to heat on top of it, at which point it will be funneled out through a tube through that. Hello, Dan.
Dan's not here. They're decorating the stove that they made. Pretty cool. Okay, so this is the land Community Links International has bought, and the students are helping to clear the field, clearing out some of the rocks, clearing out some of the weeds. They're growing an indigenous crop here, tamaranto I think is the name of it, which is a supplemental to I guess the diet. It's very nutritious, so they're just kind of getting this field cleared, and then they're going to clear out some rocks and some weeds, and then they're going to build kind of a community center here in addition to some dorms where it could kind of be a community center that can bring volunteers out here. So these guys are working on bokashi, which is an organic fertilizer. Arturo was saying this stuff costs about 500 pesos to use on the field, whereas the commercial fertilizer is about 5,000 pesos. So they use a lot of local supplies to make some fertilizer for the crops. This is the dry toilet, and if your waste is separated, you put the poo-poo in there, and you put some sawdust on it, and if it dries out, then the bacteria is killed, and you can save it and leave it for compost, and that's where the pee-pee goes. And this tree here is a avocado tree, which has thrived right here.
Here we are, about 20 minutes outside of Cholula, Mexico, in a small town that starts with a T, with an unpronounceable name. You can see this is all owned by Community Links International. They actually were driving up by the graveyard and the graveyard that's up the road, and looking for land to buy. And a guy drove up next to him and said, "Hey, you want to buy some land?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's what we're looking for." And so they got this beautiful, picturesque piece of land. If you could look over there, you can see the mountain. It's a volcano shrouded in cloud. Beautiful mountain range. It's very beautiful and very picturesque. So what we're doing here is we are starting construction of a small road that will lead up to, if you can see that pile of rocks up there, will lead up to a commons house, which will be just sort of there'll be offices in there, I believe, and a place where both visitors and employees or volunteers with community links can stay and hang out and have a dandy time. Up here, there will be other buildings, I believe lodging areas. The work is hard, it's a very hot day, but we are hanging in there.
This is some kids from the after-school program playing kickball with the boys. We'll see how this next student does. Whoop. I think that was David Catherine. There it goes. Oh! This is the soccer game. Prep versus a Tequanipan team. There are a couple teams from Mexico City here as well. It's 0-0. This is the Pyramid of Cholula. The ruins of the pyramid. It's the largest in the world. The actual pyramid isn't intact, as you can see, but the ruins are the largest. So there's a Catholic church on top, built by the Spaniards. I'm not sure the name of the church. This is the base of the Great Pyramid of Cholula. Started to be built in the 1st century, finished in the 8th century. The ruins are just the base of the pyramid, but the base is the biggest in the world. See the boys climbing up. This is in Cholula. This is San Gabriel. It's the oldest church in the Americas, oldest Catholic church in the Americas. I think the Franciscans, I believe, kind of funded this Catholic church. So San Gabriel. It's 15. I have to double check the sign. I think it was 1547.